Promotion of tobacco and trying to normalize it as steps towards your fall off. I don't know if we were trying to normalize tobacco.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Do you feel like that was a normalized tobacco video?
I don't feel like it was a normalized tobacco video. The only thing so this is an interesting thing. My brother smokes a pipe.
Mm-hmm.
He's vehemently against, similar to Matt Fred, cigarettes, weed, and he's also kind of like an anti-establishment person.
Okay.
So he was talking about man, there's so much propaganda against pipe smoking and cigars, trying to throw them in with cigarettes because cigarettes have been so detrimental to people's health that then they do all XYZs. I haven't heard his full arguments yet. So I think there's a valid part to that. And I think it was I'm sorry to say it for the people that are mad. I think it was a big boy discussion. I think it was a big boy discussion, and we had to have big boy conversations.
I don't think people like big boy discussion.
I don't think people.
What do you mean by big boy discussion? Because I don't want to sound like we're speaking down on people. What do you mean by big boy discussion?
That's the beginning of Zach's fall off.
That's beginning of Zach's fall off, for real.
What I mean by big boy discussions is that while you may think it's the worst thing in the world, there is an intellectual layer to this thing that is massively popular in especially Catholic and Orthodox circles, right?
Not just Catholic and
Calvinist,
Reform, Calvinist product. Like, there's only a small niche of people that feel strongly against the responsible and moderate occasional use of tobacco products.
Yeah.
We're not talking about smoking cigarettes. We're not talking about vaping.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to do these things. Yeah. We're saying, hey, this is why this group does these things. Someone asked about my local church. I talk to my pastor almost every single day. The day that vlog came out, he texted me and said, we should go have a cigar.
That's amazing. What?
So that's how connected I am to my local church. My pastor watches most of my videos.
Yeah.
I talk to him almost every day, and he's like, we're trying to get together and have a cigar. And all this is publicly available. Rhythm Church, we've reacted to multiple videos. We're going to keep reacting to multiple videos because I love the local church and I want to keep promoting the local church and specifically my local church.
Yeah. And so I think when there is an intellectual discussion, argument around something that actually is pretty popular in Christian culture, yet doesn't seem to be in those circles like a vice, then it's like, hey, there's something interesting here that needs to be explored. And the big boy conversation is that, like, oh, despite how we were raised, right, believing that certain substances are really awful and is the worst thing you could ever do to your body. Despite that, let's take a step back and actually hear out the argument, an intellectual argument.
Yes.
And then you start to kind of realize that, like, there are no health benefits to pipes and cigars.
None.
Zero. The pipe and cigar community will say this does more for my stress than anything else, right? But
what if I told you this ominous character often used for Halloween costumes is much closer to a metaphor for Christians than you might think, and is even in our newest Bless God collection? This character is actually the uniform of a plague doctor. You see, the Black Plague in the 1300s was absolutely devastating, taking out between 25 to 50 million people in Europe. The doctors of this era would wear these beaked masks filled with spices and aromatics, so when they entered the contaminated areas filled with death and decay, they could avoid the stench of death, ward off the supposed poisonous air, and prevent from contacting the very thing destroying their patients. This reminds me of the verse found in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 12, which reads, "Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us." And this is what the brand new Among the Pagan collections is based on. As we near Halloween night, us Christians are faced with the reality of Satan's grip on culture. While many enjoy the evening as a time to dress up in innocent costume, you don't have to go too far until you are met with a house or person dressed up in a way that glorifies demonic things. John 8, verse 12, Jesus spoke to the people and said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Although we are surrounded by darkness, we are promised the light of life through Jesus. 1 Peter 2:12 emphasizes this point, that we are not to seclude from culture, but to live lives that contrast what is worshipped by the pagans. In this collaboration with Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil, the same artist who brought you the Occupy Till I Come collection, we see a powerful story communicated in this piece of art. At the top, we see the iconic image of Saint Michael the Archangel slaying the devil on either side of a mysterious figure in the center. That mysterious figure is a depiction of a Christian as a plague doctor, wearing the beak mask to avoid the stench of death all around. As the image descends, we see depictions of death and hell to emphasize this point of the Christians living among the pagans. Clean outer border starts to crumble and crack the lower it goes, signifying disorder. And imprinted on the tombstone at the very bottom is where you'll find the scripture reference, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 12. Guys, we got a variety of high quality tees, champion hoodies, long sleeve tees, prints, and even a puzzle right now available at blessgod.shop. Don't let the pagans be the ones to dominate this season.
Are you doing the same amount of research when you drink a Diet Coke? Are you doing the same amount of research on what's healthy for you when you have a dessert? What are the health benefits of a cheesecake? What are the health benefits of a Coca-Cola? And so there, you start to explore, there's a double standard here. And the big boy conversation is being okay with unpacking the double standard and not just writing it off as this is the worst thing ever.
That's good.
Because you come to the reality that now you're blending your faith with, for better or worse, the propaganda around smoking that has been around since 1950.
Correct.
And so people are like, it's clear.
Yeah.
You can't drink or smoke. And it's like, oh, you can't. It's not. You haven't read the Bible then.
You haven't.
Because you're blending Christian evangelical morality with
which is founded on prohibition culture, which gave rise to the mafia.
Yeah.
Right. So prohibition culture, it's like purity culture, right? Like you demonize the thing. You demonize the sex instead of saying those sex in its proper context is good.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing. So I think the people that really have a gripe with this is actually not the everyday Protestant that watches the whole video and goes, oh, okay, like I'm not going to start smoking. Like I'm not smoking cigars regularly. I don't think you guys understand. Nor am I drinking. I despise alcohol. Mm-hmm. But I'm historically astute enough to say that was real wine that Jesus was drinking. It's clear they can get drunk off of it. And that's Old Testament and New Testament.
I didn't know people believed that there was grape juice because I saw comments unpacking that.
Yes. Now that's just completely ahistorical, fundamentalist, Welch's grape family juice, prohibition thinking.
Yeah.
And it's just wrong. Like that's just flat out wrong. Now, is it possible that the wine they were drinking was more watered down? Sure. Does that mean they couldn't get drunk off of it? No. Why then were they calling Jesus a drunk?
Yeah.
They were accusing Jesus of being a drunk, right? So wine, you're saying the wine.
Why would the Pharisees?
Was not. It was impossible for them to get drunk off the wine. Yet the very wine they're drinking, Jesus is being accused of being a drunk. This is coming from someone who does not drink. I don't ever plan on drinking. I don't need to have a drink. I don't want to drink. But to say that the brother or sister who's choosing to have a glass of wine with his wife is in sin or is a bad role model or is causing somebody to stumble is just lazy. It's lazy. It's not historical, and you're not critically thinking through it.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of the big boy conversations is the fact that like this is a video that is not for the lowest common denominator. Like this, like not this video, but the cigar video is a video that's not going like, oh my gosh, I need to have the most PC take on this ever. It's like, oh, like this is a grown person's conversation.
It's a grown-up conversation.
Yeah,
and people don't like that.
And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you are going to sit there intellectually with it the same way I sat with Matt Fradd.
Yes,
and that's a big boy conversation.
And people don't like that because prescribing abstinence is always harder than prescribing critical thinking and trying to process information and hold tension. Just don't do it, bro.
Yeah,
that's always easier. It's lazy. It's always easier. Mm-hmm. But when you're saying, hey, it's not the tobacco that's sinful. That's a real plant.
Yeah.
And it just may have some utility for some people in some cases.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to smoke it. That doesn't mean you have to like it. That doesn't mean we're telling you to do anything. We're saying, hey, this is the conversation around it. And by the way, I have zero desire to die on any of these hills.
Oh, yeah.
I have zero desire to lay down what, like, this was a video we did. Mm-hmm. We're not going the path of being
the cigar smoking
apologist.
We're not gonna have
Neither
a cigar,
is Matt
a Blessed God cigar.
Zero desire to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys and act like there isn't a healthy tension there. And you don't want tension. You want someone to do the thinking and the chewing for you. And I've never done that. And I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do the critical thinking and the chewing for you. You got to put on your thinking caps and think through this and figure out where your own boundaries are with this stuff.
And I would say there was a lot of comments that were like, wow, a lot to think about here. Yep. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Great.
That's great.
Yep.
Because you could still not like it.
You can still not like it. You can still not do it.
And be like, oh, I thought about it and I landed at a take.
Here, hot take. Don't ever plan on keeping cigars in my home. Don't ever plan on buying a cigar. I'll let somebody buy me a cigar. Never planning on buying a cigar. Never planning on buying alcohol. Haven't had alcohol in my home in decades.
You're the most straight edge person I know.
I'm as straight edge as it gets. So miss me with the you're advocating for tobacco use. That's just disingenuous. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.